We hear all the time what you should do to be successful when selling on Etsy. Steps to follow, tactics to increase sales, that kind of strategy, which can be super helpful. But one thing that might be even more helpful is to talk about the don'ts. The mistakes that sellers make on Etsy all the time that are costing them sales without them even maybe knowing it. There are three main mistakes that I see new sellers and even sometimes sellers that have been on Etsy for a while struggling because of, which is why I want to shed some light on these so that you can make sure that you're not making these same mistakes as you're selling on Etsy. Okay, so let's jump into these mistakes. I'm calling these the 3 M's. And the first type of mistake is to make mindset mistakes. Our mindset determines everything we do in business, whether we realize it or not, and it determines the level of success we can have. If our mindset is off from the beginning, then every other decision we make in our business really has a very short ceiling. It can't go beyond what our mindset will allow it to. So we have to make sure from the very start that we have the right mindset going into it. And 2 main mindset mistakes I see Etsy sellers making from the very beginning is number 1, thinking of it as a hobby as opposed to a real business. So these are sellers that go into starting their Etsy shop thinking that it probably won't become anything big. It's just going to be something that they do on the side for fun, which is totally fine and valid if that's what your goal is. But I'm speaking directly to the people who are coming to start an Etsy shop with visions and goals of having a legitimate online business that makes true, consistent revenue, possibly even the kind of revenue that could replace your 9-to-5 corporate job or bring you the kind of financial freedom that you've dreamed of in your life. So for those people, this is definitely a mindset shift that you'll need to make to find that kind of success. You need to be proactive in determining your thoughts about your shop from day one, that this is not simply your hobby that you're doing on the side for fun. This is an actual real business. Take a professional athlete, for example. Can you imagine someone that is a pro athlete that's going to the Olympics and treating their training for the Olympics as if it's just an intramural game? Someone who's a pro athlete training for the Olympics is going to be training a lot differently and building themselves up in preparation for that than someone who's getting ready for just a local game with their friends that's just for fun. We would be shocked if the pro athlete that's supposed to be training for the Olympics just did something here and there to try to better themselves to get ready for it. Olympians are training day in and day out, giving up time, resources, effort, hours upon hours to have the kind of success that they need at that high level. So you have to realize if you're wanting to build an online business that can compete and really make that kind of revenue you're dreaming of, you're going to have to treat it as such, which means that you may have to sacrifice time. You may have to invest money into materials or resources or coaching or software, whatever you need to get your business off the ground. And mindset mistake number 2 that I see a lot of Etsy sellers making is feeling that all too common imposter syndrome that says, man, there's so many other sellers already on the platform. There's so many other great shops. Who am I to think I could ever even get on here and break through and have that kind of success? We call this imposter syndrome because it makes you feel like an imposter. It makes you feel like you're not worthy to be there and that you don't have what it takes to compete. And I want to tell you, friend, the very fact that you're even watching this video and researching right now puts you a step ahead of most people that are already on the platform selling. I want to give you a little bit of encouragement here to let you know that everyone deals with that imposter syndrome at one time or another in their business journey. And it's common to feel that over and over again as your business evolves. So for me, in the different seasons and phases my online business has gone through, I have felt like an imposter several different times. It's been something that I've had to overcome personally to move on to the next level of my business. But as I've dealt with it, I've gotten more familiar with how it feels and the ability to recognize it and not to give into it. I remind myself that this is totally normal for every single online business owner. No matter what stage in the journey you're on, there's always going to be people that are already on the platform ahead of you that you view as competitors, and they may be competitors, but it doesn't mean that there's not room in the market for you and that it's not possible to break through, because we see new Etsy sellers breaking through and having success and consistent sales every day. So I want to encourage you not to give in to that imposter syndrome mindset mistake, but instead believe in yourself, do what it takes to research and implement what you've learned, and you definitely can have success. Now, mistake number 2 that we're going to talk about are method mistakes. We can have the right mindset all day long, but if we fall short in terms of methodology and how we're optimizing our shop and our listings, then it's still not going to go very far. So under this type of mistake number 1 is I see sellers not conducting market research and product research before they decide what they want to sell. Because of this lack of research, they're just putting products out there that they like that are in the style that they prefer and they enjoy without really validating that it's actually in demand in the market. It's something that people really do want currently and is on trend. So they put hours and hours of effort into creating these products that they like, but really no one else is searching for, and they list and don't get any traffic or sales because they haven't researched what is actually in demand. Now, there are a lot of different tools and resources you can use to do this kind of product, keyword, and market research. My favorite is Sales Samurai, and it's super easy to hop on there and validate some different product or style ideas. So I'll use Sales Samurai to do some product research. So what I'll do is come to Sales Samurai search tool, and I'll type in a keyword phrase that I'm thinking of. So for example, here I've typed in baby blanket. And the first thing I look at to make sure that this product is selling well on Etsy is I look at the Etsy search volume. This will give me a number that tells me the estimated monthly amount of times that keyword phrase is searched. For the term baby blanket, we see over 23,000 searches per month. So this tells me baby blankets are definitely in demand on Etsy. And then I can scroll down and see the actual listings on Etsy here that are selling well for the term baby blanket. So then I can go through and click on these and do some further product research by looking at the listing itself, looking through the photos and seeing what different trend elements like colors, fonts, patterns, or other elements that these listings are using to make them successful. You see that there's a lot of different color options for this one, and we've got the option for personalization, but I want to further validate that this one is actually selling well. So I'm going to come down here to the reviews section, and I can see how many reviews for this specific item and how many reviews for this shop. So the shop itself has over 10,000 reviews, but this item alone has almost 800, which tells me this item is selling over and over again. So my goal here is not to copy these listings, but it's to get some ideas of what's selling well, what colors and fonts and materials are working for these products, to be able to then put my own spin and twist on them and create something that's going to be in high demand. So if you haven't used Sales Samurai yet, I definitely recommend that you try it out. I've got a free 3-day trial linked in the description box below. You can click on that and try it out for free for 3 days and see if you think it'd be a good fit for your business. And if it is, you can continue using it with their monthly subscription after that. You can input the code KATE20 when you sign up to get 20% off if you do decide to continue using it beyond the free trial. Thanks so much to Sales Samurai for sponsoring this portion of today's video. And then mistake number 2 that I see under this method mistake category is when sellers don't take advantage of the low-hanging fruit that's easily available to them. What I mean by low-hanging fruit is taking advantage of the opportunities that are free and easy for you to optimize and up-level your listings or your shop to be discovered in the search higher and to make your product more appealing and increase your conversion rate. I audit and review Etsy shops all the time that I see these easy things missing that could take literally minutes for the Etsy seller to add into their shop or to level up or improve. That would make such a difference, but they just don't notice that these things are missing and they're not taking advantage of the free and easy ways that they could quickly improve. And these aren't things that even necessarily will get you sales, but they're things that could be preventing you from getting sales. So one example of this is using outdated photos or photos that aren't quality. Having great photos is not necessarily going to guarantee that you'll get the sale, but having bad photos on your listing will definitely guarantee that you're not going to get the sale. That's a quick and sure way for that shopper to click off of your listing. Think about it like this. Say you have 2 grocery stores that are right next to each other. They have the same products, same pricing. Everything is the same about them except for one thing. One has a terrible smell when you go in. Which one of those grocery stores are you likely to choose when you're going to go shopping? Neither of them has any factors about it that would make you want to shop there, but one has a factor that would make you not want to shop there. And that's the same thing when we're not taking advantage of this low-hanging fruit and we're leaving things in our shop unoptimized, missing, or low quality. So here, like I mentioned, we're thinking about having quality photos. We're also thinking about optimizing with SEO, search engine optimization, which means we're using keywords in the strategic places in our listing to get our listings discovered and ranked higher. I have a whole video on Etsy SEO if you're interested in learning how to do Etsy specific SEO using highly searched keyword phrases. I'll link that in the description box below if you're interested in watching that. But that's one low-hanging fruit that you could easily optimize within a matter of minutes, offering variations or options for your customers within your listings, reducing your processing time and even your shipping cost if possible, using the Etsy Seller Handbook to research things like optimizing for ranking, and reminding your customer to leave a review. I see sellers all the time missing this low-hanging fruit. This is a great opportunity when you get a sale to send a friendly reminder either in your packing slip or a follow-up message just to say, hey, if you were pleased with your purchase, we'd be so grateful if you leave us feedback in the form of a review. Just this simple, friendly reminder can increase your 5-star reviews, which increases your overall shop score, which then increases your ranking for your listings, getting you discovered higher and higher in the search. It also provides social proof for buyers who are comparing your listing to others. Having more 5-star reviews could get you the edge and eventually get you the sale. So why not go ahead and take that opportunity to just send a quick follow-up reminder, to put that little reminder in your packing slip or your thank you email to try and increase the number of great 5-star reviews you have. Being intentional about these different little seemingly small tasks can really have a huge impact in the success of your shop. All right, moving on to the third M mistake here, which is marketing mistakes. I'm always surprised again and again at how many sellers are not taking advantage of free and easy to use marketing tools that are available to them to drive traffic to their shop from external sources. The main one I'm thinking of here is social media. A lot of people get intimidated at the thought of using social media for their business, but it's really not something that has to be super complicated. Again, this would be considered another low-hanging fruit, something that's free and easy and available right there at your fingertips to drive more traffic and eventually get more sales. The thing with social media is that as the world turns more and more digital, it's becoming more and more imperative and crucial for business owners to incorporate that into their business plan. You don't have to use social media to have success in your shop, but I will tell you that most of your competitors are using it and really gaining a lot of traffic from it. So you're probably going to be falling short if you're not doing anything in terms of social media or email marketing or something externally to drive traffic to your shop. It's just the name of the game with online business, and it's something that you'll have to be able to be flexible with and get used to if you're not used to using it, or pivot and use it for your business in the right way as opposed to just using it personally. Now, this isn't to say you have to be on every single social media platform and get totally overwhelmed with that. I say pick just one in the beginning if you're just starting out, one that you're either already on and familiar with using, or one that your target customer is likely already hanging out on. At the end of the day, some type of marketing is necessary for business success, especially on Etsy. You won't be able to just start an Etsy shop and then cross your fingers and hope to be discovered. You really have to be intentional about driving traffic and driving sales. Now, going along with this is another mistake I see Etsy sellers making, which is not collaborating with other sellers or influencers. This happens a lot on social media too, but I always encourage my Etsy seller students to be reaching out, networking, finding others that they can collaborate with, doing something like a joint giveaway, or even reaching out to an influencer to see if you could send some free product to be featured on their social account. This means that you're tapping into someone else's audience that's already been built up over time, and actually you're able to tap into the loyalty that audience has to that influencer or brand instead of trying to start completely from scratch yourself. Collaborations are usually a win-win for both parties if you do it the right way. Don't feel shy about reaching out to people that are in your same niche, maybe other sellers whose product complements yours in a great way, or influencers who have an audience that's really similar to your target audience that you know would appreciate the product you have to offer. Go ahead and send emails and direct messages and pitch your idea. You'd be surprised how many people might be willing to work with you. And finally, here under the marketing mistakes, I see people not offering incentives. You've probably heard me say this before, but incentives. That is what's going to help you as a new shop get off the ground. That's what's going to provide your potential shoppers the extra little reward or motivation they need to go ahead and make the purchase now as opposed to waiting. This can be anything from a discount code to a flash sale to a freebie with their purchase, but you're just providing some incentive to say, hey, if you purchase now, you get this extra thing, you get this reward, so you definitely don't want to wait. To me, this is another low-hanging fruit that's easily able to be done, especially in the beginning when you're trying to get traction that's going to draw attention and give your customers excitement to purchase from you. So those are the main mistakes I see Etsy sellers making, and ones that I don't want you to make because I want you to have success from day one in your Etsy shop. Now, if you're interested in a full tutorial on how to get started on Etsy for beginners, then you can click on the square on the screen right now, and that'll take you over to another one of my videos that's just for those starting out on Etsy with deeper strategy for some of the things I mentioned here today, of things that you can do, strategy that you can implement to be successful in your shop. Happy selling, friends!